What are the locators used in Selenium WebDriver?
Yeah, there are totally 8 locators in Selenium.
I was on mute. So there are totally 8 locators in Selenium WebDriver, and they are ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, a partial link text, XPath, and CSS selector.
Okay, Kranti, can you please share your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, may I know what is the syntax for any ID test links, as you said before?
Yes, so I'll write that down here. I hope you can see my screen, right? Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, Kranti, continue.
Okay, thank you. So driver dot find element if by dot. So as I mentioned, we have 8 different locators, right? So I'm just writing a syntax based on the ID locator. So using like this. So this is one of the syntax for ID using locators. So this is the locator which I mentioned, and inside this double quotes, we need to mention the value of that particular ID. So this is one of the syntax, and if you want to use some other locator, it goes in the same way. It's just that we need to change the attribute here. Let's say by dot xpath, and then we need to give the xpath value inside this. So it goes in this way. This is the syntax for that.
Yeah. Okay, Kranti. May I know what is the difference between relative and absolute expert?
Yeah, sure. Coming to XPath, it's just XML document where we refer for all the elements which we can see on the UI, right? So, for example, let's say there were 50 elements on the UI. So, if a user wants to identify, for example, 26th element, uh, there were two ways actually. Either we need to use ID, name, or any other locators. But coming to XPath, as you specifically mentioned, we can directly identify the 26th element, or we can identify the 26th element from the root. So if we prefer to identify the element from the root, then we call it as absolute XPath. Or else if you want to identify that particular element itself using from the particular position, either from the parent or child, then we call it as a relative XPath. Basically, we all choose the relative XPath. It's just because to maintain the consistency. And even if in the future, if we have any new element adding in the UI, there won't be any disturbance. Like our script will not fail. It keeps on run for relative XPath.
Yeah, okay, Kranti. Uh, may I know what is the retest and regression meaning? Difference between but those?
Yeah, sure. So basically, retest is nothing but testing the same set of test cases again and again. Let's say, for example, I have 10 test cases for one module, and I observed that one of the test case was failed because of some bug fix or some other uh, okay, in some other case. So what I'll say is to developer that this particular test case is failing, and he will do some fixes, or he will include some new feature and all. So in that case, I need to retest those test cases to make sure that everything the flow is working fine. So it's nothing but testing those set of test cases again just to make sure that bug got fixed or not is called retesting. Coming to regression testing, it's a different concept. It's like again it basically we are focusing on the impacted areas, right? Regression testing is nothing but testing to make sure whether the existing functionality is working fine because of the new feature added by the client. So this is the difference between retesting and regression testing.
Yeah, okay, Kranti. Thank you.